Hello, and welcome to Art Minutes. I'm Patricia Tomlinson, curator at the Appleton Museum of Art. Today, I wanted to share a print from our permanent collection with you. It is entitled Spring Cheer, and it is by James Rosenquist. Rosenquist was one of the founding fathers of the pop art movement, and as such is extremely important in understanding the whole history and foundation of that movement. So let's look at the piece a little and talk about that. When we look at the piece as a whole, we see several images. From left to right, they are a Cheer box from Cheer laundry detergent. In the center, there is a red Pegasus with some kind of orange round form behind it. And on the far right, there is an ovoid shape that is reminiscent of the lens of a pair of aviator sunglasses. All these images are arrayed along a long, bare branch, almost like blossoms on a flowering tree. And I think that definitely plays a part in the title, as does the imagery that we just spoke about, because cheer is, of course, a play on words, the Cheer laundry detergent on the branch. But the spring part, I think, also alludes to these various objects almost blossoming out of the branch, much like you would see apple blossoms in the springtime. One of the things that's important to remember about pop art is it often doesn't have a deep hidden meaning. Part of what these artists were trying to do was to really upend the status quo. They were trying to use images from advertising, from very popular things in magazines. So in a sense, they were really trying to reimagine art, what that looks like and what it stands for. When we look at the individual elements a little more closely, what we see is, as I mentioned, the Cheer box. Cheer was a very popular laundry detergent in the 50s and 60s and even through the 70s when this was made. If we move to the center of the piece, we see a Pegasus, and that Pegasus is actually the logo for the Exxon Mobil Corporation, which was still to this day is a very powerful and multi-million-dollar oil and gas corporation. And I think that's why that circular form is also behind the Pegasus. That is evocative of an oily oil can that was set down on the paper and left its ring when the oil sort of seeped down the sides of the can after being poured. And of course, anyone from the 70s would know that aviator sunglasses were very popular at that time. That was what all the movie stars and important people wore. So to have the aviator sunglass is also a very iconic symbol of the time period in which this art piece was made. Now, part of why Rosenquist was so good at painting logos is right after college, he did get an art degree and went to college, and right after that, he became a professional billboard painter. He had to earn a living, and to be a professional artist, as we all know, is, pretty hard to do for most people to really succeed. So he turned towards professional billboard painting. And of course, this was at the time when they were painted by hand. So people were actually way up in the air on the billboards painting these giant images. And that is why he is so good at both logos and large format imagery. He states that really helped him perfect his art form. Now, in the mid-50s, he went to New York City on an art scholarship, and that is really where he started to be introduced to the other artists who would become icons of the pop art movement as well. He was friends with Klaus Oldenburg, he knew Andy Warhol, he knew Rauschenberg. So it was really a wonderful creative time for him, and he fell in line with all of these artists, and they started making their absolutely groundbreaking art. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to sharing more art minutes with you soon.